So, yun yung nakikita ko that the DOJ is there, pero they're not pushing like they should. And, that's under Crispin Remulla. And, let's see what he's going to do. So, that's why I'm not hopeful with
Tama, bro.
the pronouncement. It was a press con they did, or a quick interview they did, and they said that they were going to do it. But let's see. Because remember, Crispin Remulla was at one point included with Duterte's circle. 'Di ba? Kaya hindi ko
Yun nga
talaga
eh.
masasabi sa na na may tiwala ako sa fairness dito eh. But I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But then again, nandun pa rin naman ang ICC. Kaya sana sa akin lang, pag hindi kumilos ang DOJ, pasok ICC. Yun na yun. And even Marcos
Mhm.
admitted that they have to honor the Interpol's red notice.
Pag-usapan ko rin ng sandali First of all, kay BBM, ayan na naman tayo. Hindi tayo magko-cooperate sa ICC. Pero kung ang ICC kailangan nila mag-cooperation, hindi natin sila maitatanggi. Ayan na naman yung mga
Yeah.
style ni
Ah,
BBM na mga palusot. No, but going back to this, pare, yun nga eh, Percy Lapid, napaka-high profile. Inspiration natin lahat yan. Lahat tayo in one way or
yeah.
another, para yung mga babies ni ka-Percy, di ba? I mean, Percy Lapid was so influential that yung aking lola na solid North, God bless her soul, na at some point very enamored with Duterte. Talagang galit na galit siya kay Digong dahil napanood niya si Percy Lapid. So ganun ka-convincing si Percy Lapid na yung mga believe na believe kay Digong or galit sa kabila, ay biglang napaisip sila, o nga, no? So, doon mo makita ang laki ng contribution ni Percy Lapid. Saka tapang niya, di ba? Parang Navalny style na eh. Tapos papakita pa niya yung bahay ng nakaw, mga ganyan. So, yeah, the fact na napaka-high profile case yan, may international coverage, nagsalita pa yung mga embahada ng mga iba't ibang mga bansa, hindi pa rin na-resolve yan. Alam pa natin alam natin na alam nila saan si Bantag. That tells you gaano ka dami mga butas sa sistema. But speaking of that, pare, hindi ba, ito yung interesting eh, hindi ba ang ICC is less politicized? Kasi kung itong admin will go after Duterte, meaning DOJ, ganun, mas madali na sasabihin nila politicize yan, di ba? Dahil syempre nagwatak-watak na yung unit team. Yung ICC, wala naman silang pake sa domestic politics natin eh. Ang issue lang naman sa ICC yung kanilang mandato para sigurado
Mhm.
na hindi magkakaroon ng itong Gaddafi style na any dictator can go and kill tens of thousands of people. Yun lang naman di ba? A rules-based international order. Now, speaking of ICC though, may konting complication tayo, and dito I have seen divergent points. So Justice Carpio on one hand is saying baka ma-delay na naman yung ICC kasi hindi ko alam kung parang kung narinig mo, si Karim Khan, yung chief prosecutor, may kaso bigla siya out of nowhere. Now, conspiracy theory says that because he went after some powerful leaders, ginagawan din siya ng kaso. But some are saying regardless, baka ito ay magdi-delay, baka distracted si Karim Khan yung chief prosecutor, so baka ma-delay yan. Pero si Senator Trillanes was adamant na hindi, tuloy-tuloy yung sistema at papunta na tayo sa exciting part. So I think that, and maybe Trillanes has a point in the sense that bakit sasabihin ng Malacanang, 'di ba? Lalong-lalo na yung dating katrabaho colleague ni Justice Carpio, yung ating chief of executive chief executive ni BBM. Bakit si Bersamin sasabihin niya na will
Mm.
fully cooperate at wala
Yep.
tayong so you have that from Crispin Remulla before, now you have it from Malacanang. So I think the parts are all coming together. Pero the complicating factor pare dito is also yung impeachment kay Sara Duterte.
Yep.
Dito na naman, medyo 50-50 na naman ako. Both Ronald Llamas and Trillanes are more convinced na baka you can get the 16 sa Senate. Ako, medyo parang after nung nakita ko yung nangyari sa hearing, ano kayang gagawin mo para yung mga ibang senador ay kumanta na gagawin nila
Alam
yung
mo,
tama?
like sa akin, the only way they're going to move their allegiances is kung nakita nila talaga the tides are turning na. That they're fully convinced na, nako, I can't stay on this boat. It's really sinking and I need to save my political career. Nakita mo si Tolentino, for example, di ba? Nag-jump ship na siya eh. Pero he's keeping mum. Pero yun na nga ang problema. It's
Yun nga
the
eh,
silence.
nag-jump siya, tapos biglang, ay, medyo dito muna ako ng konti.
Ah,
Exactly, Tolentino was the reason why I thought, wait. I thought nasa kabila ka na biglang, ay, di, mamawit pa rin ako. That's what I'm saying, brother. So, yun nga eh, so in short, ang sinasabi ko, the admin or whoever believes na talaga may basis, kung talaga may ebidensya, by the way, we're saying is if there's evidence, and ang problema dito is takot yung ibang senador and all, you have to make sure na may cost if they're not doing their job. Right? So hindi
yeah.
ko sinabi bribe them to do this. I'm saying make sure na may ano sila, may pananagutan sila kung hindi nila gawin ng tama, including
Well,
be embarrassing them or something. we
If
have done
okay,
something.
here's the problem with that with that line of thinking in my opinion. If you're saying that sana may consequence sa action nila, what? Are you referring to the executive department? Somehow, parang having influence on their behavior and attitude and decisions, then if you're saying that, that's a double-edged sword. Kasi ngayon, that can be favorable to the outcome that we are looking for, but at the same time, pwedeng baliktaran din yan that when something naman that, whatever next administration is not favorable towards what the Senate is deciding, it actually renders the Senate now more like a rubber stamp, which is what happened at the time of Duterte, di ba? Na yung Senate at yung Congress, hawak niya talaga yan. At kaya walang makakibot, walang makakilos. And that's the problem with having undue influence of one branch over the other branch. So for me, I prefer na let the Senate be independent and let's see what happens. At maglabanan na yung magkaalyansa diyan at tingnan natin kung sino talagang gaganap dito. And even if Sara Duterte is not impeached because mas marami siyang kaalyado, well, I mean, let's see. I mean, sa akin, I don't think they have the numbers to be able to save her from impeachment, especially after what they did. Now, I know you binanggit mo nga that may mga ibang senator dyan that are asking now to even increase the budget. Ang kapal ng mga mukha ng mga to. At can you please tell me who they are because I'm not sure. May nakita akong update sa X na nakalagay dito na sinabi daw ni Gatchalian na pinag-uusapan daw yun. Pero I don't know if it was Gatchalian that said it or he's just saying what other senators are planning to
Just
do.
exposing it. Kaya I didn't want to drop names because I want to confirm what is the stance of Senator Gatchalian on this. Now, going back to this, again, absolutely, as I said, if there's an evidence to prove na incontrovertible evidence na indeed there's a ground for impeachment, there should be a consequence if there's senators who are blocking the enforcement
Right.
of justice. That's what I'm saying. Not that you
Okay.
unduly influence them to toe your line. Pangalawa, yan ang problema natin, wala tayong real party system. So kung sa US yan, Republican, Democrat, more or less, there's intra-party caucus, there's the conversation.
Hmm.
Ang dami dyan, majority supposedly with admin, pero yung voting patterns nila, yung behavior nila, hindi. So, not only are they disloyal to where they're supposed to be, because kaya nga nag-majority ka, meaning you support the administration. Pangalawa, they're also not upholding the spirit and the letter of the Constitution because ang trabaho nila is hindi protekta. Ang trabaho nila
Yep.
is talagang may base talaga, may basihan talaga. So I'm absolutely clear kung may basihan yung impeachment. If there's incontrovertible evidence and klarong-klaro umakyat ito sa Senado, then that's where there should be cost if there are people who are protecting those who should not
Yeah.
be protected. Yun yung point ko. Now, speaking of this, both Trillanes and Ronald Llamas ay nag-smirk when I asked them, so what did you do in the past, especially the case of Chief Justice Corona? Personally, I was working in the Congress back then, just a lowly staff back then. I remember marami hindi natuwa sa case ni Justice Corona.
Yeah.
To be honest, personally, I have my reservations. So I'm not sure the Justice Corona case is the best, precedence unless you throw out the baby with the bathwater, right?
Mhm.
And the question is, what is the bathwater there na kailangan tanggalin para hindi maulit yung mga nangyaring mali sa panahon sa impeachment? I mean, Corona's case was weird kasi I don't think it was even necessary.
Yeah.
I don't think there
As
was
a
any
matter,
indication that he will support or protect Arroyo. So I just felt the whole thing was a bit bizarre and nag-overshoot talaga ang Aquino administration. And that
yeah.
gave a lot of bad vibes, I'll be honest. I remember in Congress marami nagagalit. Ano ba naman yan? Bakit ganun?
Yeah.
Binabardagulan railroad. So I don't know if you remember that, diga, bro?
Of course, I remember it very clearly. My comment about that is I did not agree with it. I actually supported Corona. And when I heard it myself, I was like, wait a minute. Ang pinaglalaban dito ay yung SALE ni Corona. And at the same time, the very people that are trying him are also the very people that have abused the SALN and that have not properly submitted their SALNs. And yet, that was the accusation for the impeachment. Simple lang yun eh. Nung tinignan ko, at saka sobrang liit nung amount na pinag-uusapan natin in terms of yung nagkamali siya sa paglagay ng kanyang assets. It was like, what, 10 million or less? It was a ridiculously small number. And they were just looking for a hole. And dito ko nakita that the law was weaponized. And that's why I didn't agree with it. And for me, it was a political move. And that pissed a lot of people off. And that's why I said nga that somehow the rise of Digong was not because of all of because it's him, because it was also the frustrations of the people with the past administration. As much as yes, Pinoy did a lot of good things, there were also things that he did not deliver on. Kaya marami nagalit. Ngayon, ang maganda dito, this is where it's weird. Ang maganda with what's happening naman with Marcos is that he's covering a lot of bases. He's still screwing up on some, but they're not things that you're gonna be extremely furious about. You're upset about it, but unlike yung kay Pino, you're hitting yung talagang may natatamaan sa ating mga puso sa mga nangyayari na ginagawa ng laban sa mga iba't ibang tao. Si Marcos, look what he's doing. He's doing correct. First, na bumababa ang crime. Tama yun. Number one. Number two, yung DOJ and the DILG, with what they're doing with the drug case, now they're going after the drug lords that are convicts, moving them out already to of Muntinlupa. They're doing everything right. With the customs, they're going to now go after customs to make sure na wala nang papasok na droga. Man, making those announcements, that's bold, and they're doing the right things. And with the Gong, with the Quadcom, with Sara's budget, alam mo, they need to just, there's a couple of things they need to do, pero they're on the right track. So in a way, pag tinignan mo, no, I hate to say it, and some people that are kakampings may hate what I'm gonna say, but Marcos may be doing a little bit better in those aspects than Pinoy, if not a lot better.
You mean you're saying
But,
it's more suabe din siya in terms of handling? Kasi yun nga, medyo rough siya.
yun,
Whiplash yung nangyari kay Corona, kaya I personally disagreed with it. But who am I? And definitely I was a nobody back then. So I agree with you, bro, na kaya nga sabi ko, the Corona case is not a precedence in terms of substance kasi yung kay Sara talaga ibang usapan to eh. This is totally
yes,
different case. Diba? Kay Corona, it's
yes,
just a fear of residual loyalty and protection of Arroyo, which I think really had flimsy basis. But this Sara case is very, very different. I mean, all of this alleged irregularities, anomalies, confidential funds. I mean, kaya nga sabi ko, there should be consequences dun sa mga senador or kung sinong politiko ay nagpo-protect sa kanila for whatever reason, including, selfish reasons or worse, right? So, or
yeah.
electoral selfish reasons or worse. So,
But,
that's what I meant.
pero alam mo Richard, sorry to interrupt you, no? Pero alam mo that the consequences you're referring to is going to come from the people. Tayo, all of us, the people watching tonight, the people on social media, we must let our voices be heard. We cannot be silent. Kaya importante lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon, you make sure that you post on social media, you comment on these articles, you make sure to tag all these senators. You make sure they understand that the people don't want you to do this, and they will betray the public trust. Pag tumaas ang budget ni Sara, umalagay balik sa 2 billion, they betray the public trust. And nakita na nga ng mga tao na maraming anomalya sa budget ni Sara at pagbabudget niya. Now, having said that, I understand also that there is an intrinsic problem with the way budgets are done in the Philippines. Actually, probably all over the world. And how government looks at budget. This is a perfect chance to be able to change all of that and change the way we perceive budgets. Kasi, you know naman how budgets are done, di ba? You're supposed to present a budget, each department. Present ka ng budget. Gagawa ka ng kahit na anong numerong gusto mo para makuha. Nagawan yan sa budget, pataasan yan. Ngayon, ito yung problema nila. Pag na-approve yan, kailangan nilang gastusin yan. So, pipilitin nilang gastusin yan kahit na anong paraan, kahit ipeke na ang mga resibo para lang magastos para next year makukuha nila yung same budget. Yun yung nangyari. And that is wrong. And I'm saying this na if seryoso ang Quadcom, that they really want to do the right thing, not only do you impeach Sara, you must improve the way the budgets are managed. How it starts, the flow of it. Kasi yun yung pinakamalaking problema. Kaya pataas ng pataas ang budget ng Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. Yun ang nangyayari. Kasi ganun ang sistema. Let's think of how we can spend money versus how we can save money. Baliktad, mali. It's not a feasible and something that's sustainable. And that's why ang gulo ng mundo natin when it comes to inflation.
Well, I mean, I'll put aside our libertarian debate but I definitely agree with you na we need to clean up itong mumbo-jumbo na nangyari sa budget. Including yung fact na bago mag-election, biglang sinisira na naman yung kalsada, ulitin gagastusin
Oh,
sila. Alam na natin contractor, alam na natin yan. Binuking na ni Mayor Magalang
yep.
ng modus operandi in bagay among places. So, unfortunately, ito yung kumbaga war economy sa politika natin. No? Binababoy talaga yung infrastructure, yung budget. So, sangayon ako sa'yo pare, in a sense that sana itong mga nangyayaring Quadcom, Senate hearing, whatever ito, ay hindi lang ukol sa Duterte versus the Republic of the Philippines or Duterte versus BBM. Sana talagang eventually papunta tayo sa isang sitwasyon kung saan sasabihin ng tao, wait lang, okay, mali yung sila Sara and all, okay, go, oh, good yan. Pero wait lang, parang may mali sa buong setup. Kailangan natin, kaya I completely agree with you guys, with you bro, in a sense that, um, dapat mag-ingay din ng tao, dapat mag-demand din ng tao. Kaya kanina sabi ko, isa sa mga pwedeng gawin ng admin, if they believe na they're on the right side of evidence and history, is i-booking nila kung sino mga senador. They could do it in many ways, right? Kung sino senador ay protector, essentially. So that yung public rage will be directed towards them. Do you get what I'm saying? Kasi masyadong, masyadong be and let be ang usapan ngayon. So that could be one consequence na in one way or another, people who want justice or people who believe there's a ground for impeachment, dapat i-booking nila, expose nila. And then organically, yung mga civil society groups, mga influencer, thought
Yep.
leaders, also have to seize on that para ma-pressure itong mga senador na to. Because alam natin, because nationally elected ang mga senadors, dahil maraming Englishero ng senadors, they care what you say on Twitter. They care what you say, Medyo iba yan sa mga congressman, di ba? So, I don't know, I mean, sabi nga ni Ronald, baka nga si Abante nagaganon kasi natotroll siya sa Manila ng mga DDS and all of that. So that means you're right. I think public pressure, democratic public pressure,
Yeah.
grassroots pressure is okay. And the government can expose these people based on, again, actual evidence ang sinasabi ko, actual basis na mga
Yeah.
protector ay dapat ma-expose para ma-pressure sila.
So you're making the assumption that there are protectors and they have a interest in it, or maybe they've been corrupted. That's what you're saying by exposing them. Because otherwise, what do you mean by exposing unless there is some sort of corruption there, that or they have an interest na kayang i-expose. Otherwise, if they're just believing or wanting to side with Fiona, I mean, that's their right to do that, diba? As senators. I mean,
Yeah, but
or kung
if the
kaalyado nila yon.
evidence is no, but if the evidence is incontrovertible, if the reading of the people of the lower house of the Malacanang DOJ, everyone who has a gray matter function is like lantaran na to, bastusan na to, and then for some reason two or three, aside from the usual suspects, are blocking it or trying to prevent it. Dapat well, when I say expose, it could be also like BBM saying, "Ay, hindi ko alam kay ganito at ganyan. Bakit hindi niya na binablock? Obvious naman ng anong
Right.
ebidensya." I mean, it could be even something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you could be creative around that. I'm not saying na,
Yeah.
ito ay kurakot binayaran ng Duterte. It doesn't have to be that case. It could be more like, ano bang ginagawa? So, I'll give you an example.
Right.
So, for instance, sa US, di ba? Yung si Joe Manchin, when he was blocking yung mga bills ni Biden, or when Trump was blocking the immigration bill, for instance, whether infrastructure immigration, openly sasabihin nila, bakit ginagawa ni ganito yan? Bakit ginagawa ni ganito yan? This is address. So you put pressure, public pressure.
Yes.
Hindi siya yung, oy, kurakot yan, binayaran ng company. Hindi ganun. I don't mean it that way. Unless there's really something, then ibang usapan yan. But what I'm saying is, it's the right of the executive branch, if they feel some people are holding back the nation and not protecting the Constitution, to call out.
Yes.
Call out. Okay, that's the
Yes.
term. Call out these people.
Okay, so in that sense, yes, we agree on that sense na pag may mali, and it's obvious naman na parang wala yung logic mo, wala na, and kitang-kita. And you know what the thing is, mahirap depensahan ang OVP natin ngayon. Ha? Sobrang obvious kasi yung kapalpakan sa paggawa nila ng budget. At bastusan yung gumagamit ng mga fake names tulad ni Mary Grace Piatos. Parang it was almost like a slap in their face na parang F you,
Medyo
I'm gonna do
pinaghirap.
this. Yeah, at saka wala kang magagawa. Ganun na yung dating sa akin ngayon nambabastos na yan yung ganun kayo katanga at kabobo, kayong mga Pilipino, na gagawin ko to at wala kayong magagawa. At yung mga supporters ko, ganun sila sinasamba ako na kahit na may mali akong gawin, dedepensahan pa rin nila ako dahil hindi sila maniniwala sa mga naririnig nila kahit obvious na sarili nilang mata nakikita nila na may ginagawa akong kalokohan. todo depensa pa rin sila. Yun ang mahirap.
Yeah, tapos parang sampal sa mukha natin lahat na sa sobrang engot niyo or sobrang syungan niyo or sobrang ano niya, mga fanatic kayo, you will allow me to get away with it. Pero yun ang sinasabi ng mga iba na ganun talaga sila since Davao days. And
Yes,
getting away, getting, away with this for so long.
murder. They're getting away with murder.
Second
Cliche
nature na
and in
nila yan.
reality.
Second nature na nila yan. But obviously, that also raises the question, what assurances they got from BBM initially for them to feel that confident? Kasi medyo alanganin si BBM kasi he was allowing Sarah to get away. I mean, she got the confidence. Do you get what I'm saying? So may mga, kaya nga,
So,
babalik pa rin ako sa ICC eh. Kailangan mo
yeah.
talaga ng isang objective, non-political entity to come in just to enforce law. Kasi at the end of the day, I can see also your counter-argument yung sinasabi ko sa Senado is, no matter what happens, it will be looked at as a demolition job or a political job once it's a BBM versus Sara thing. Yun nga yung,
Yes.
kaya nga kahapon nga, di ba, National Unfriend Day, yung mga picture ni Sara at BBM na yun. Hindi ka naman saying. So, kaya nga sabi ko, ICC pa rin ako eh. You
Pero
need, yeah.
yeah, pero I'm gonna add to that, Richard, that, I noticed kasi nga with politics now, this is one thing I'm starting to notice talaga, is that there is a lot of what you project or what your PR is versus what you actually do. Nakikita ko talaga even with BBM, he says something or not say anything, but yet the wheels are moving underneath him to a certain direction, even if he's negating that direction. So I think that that's just really how politics are right now with the way it goes. And I have to add that I think nung umpisa kasi, BBM being a little bit of a beta male, sorry for the BBM supporters, pero
And na,
beta male talaga
malapit
si
na incel ang tawag ko sa kanya.
Oo, 'di ba? Pero ito yung nakita ko sa kanya kaya pumayag siya muna si Sara gamitin yung presidential plane. Can you imagine you're the president, bumibigay ka sa VP mo na, "O, sige, gamitin mo yung presidential chopper ko." Tapos hindi lang 'yon. Then yun na nga yung pagbigay ng confidential funds. Tingin ko talaga ginawa lang yun parang hindi siya makatanggi. Ang tigas ni Sara, ang kulit. Sige na nga, bigay mo na lang para manahimik na, 'di ba? And then ayan na, pero ang magaling nga, ayan na, you've got the Speaker Romualdez who said, tingnan natin 'to. Kasi may problema dito. Bam! Nakikita mo nga may problema nga talaga. At dahil sanay nga si Sarah na nanggagago lang at walang ginagawang tamang mga accounting, hindi niya realize na, oy, titignan talaga ako. Kasi pumasok nga siya doon sa unang budget hearing na dapat courtesy to, walang gagalaw sa akin. And the first year, Sandro Marcos pa was the one who you said, okay, meeting adjourned. Tapos na tayo sa hearing na to, budget approved, di ba? Pero the following year,
Sabi ko, it
ayan
could
na.
come back and hunt. No, going back to this, kaya sabi ko nga, baka nga talagang good Machiavelli si BBM in a sense na,
Yeah,
silent but deadly. Having said that though, nakita din natin nung panahon ni Digong or even with Pinoy and the rest, no, na may signaling power pa rin yung presidente. Like, I'm
yeah.
all for working from behind and all. I mean, I'm all for that. But at the same time, sayang din yung plataforma ng presidente, the bully pulpit eh. Kasi
Yep.
may signaling power ang presidente. So I just feel underutilized yung signaling power ni BBM eh. Again,
Ah,
speaking of beta male, I think nasunog talaga siya dun sa first and last spontaneous press conference. And naalala mo yung pinaka first, sabi na, hindi, ayoko ng spokesman, ako nang bahala. Tapos sabi na, we're not that high sa inflation. Tapos
yep.
meme, we're not that high. So wala na. I think after that, nasunog na siya. So, yun yung medyo nabebeta mail ako sa kanya. Parang, okay lang sir, ano lang yan, learning experience yan. You will be fine. Ganun talagang, be a troll talaga. I-troll back, ganyan. We're not that high, ganun. So, doon ako disappointed kasi feeling ko underutilized yung bully pulpit of the president. Iba talaga yung
Yep.
signal. If the president comes out and makes a big statement on something, it matters, pare. It shapes the coordinates of possibilities. Doon ako nagkakulang kay BBM. And wala rin siyang spokesman na influential. Sinong Harry Roque niya?
Sino ba spokesman ni BBM? Hindi ko nga
Hindi,
alam eh.
wala siyang Harry Roque. I mean,
Wala nga talaga ba siyang spokesman ngayon?
wala siyang Harry Roque, wala siyang Panelo, wala siyang Bongo. So, maraming
Oh,
kulang
wow.
sa... Oh, sinong Bongo niya? Sinong operator apparatchik niya? Lagdamay? I
Well,
think so.
Romualdez, I think.
But Romualdez is in the Congress na eh. Kasi yung
Sure.
operator dapat behind the scenes eh, di ba? Yung
His wife,
yeah, yung Romualdez is
the
he's
first
the
lady.
man, he's man in the ring. Diba? Martin is in
Yep.
the ring na eh. So you need someone na hindi nasa ring. You know, you can come in and parang
Right, right.
promoters,
Okay, okay.
apparatchik, diba? Yun ang term. Parang Ronald Llamas, yung trabaho niya kay
Yeah,
Aquino. Kaya sabi
you're
ko,
right.
yun ang pare kulang talaga eh. So again, of course I agree na, maybe 6 months from now, we're gonna sit down and laugh at ourselves. tayo talaga in-underestimate natin si BBM. Tignan mo nangyari nila. I'm completely reconciled to that possibility. But at the same I'm saying, medyo binibigyan niya pa rin masyadong chance yung kabila eh.
Yes.
Beta male vibes pa rin siya sa akin na minsan naiinis ako. Again, nothing against beta males ah. I'm just saying, you're the president. Bro, mag-alpha ka ng konti. Tingnan mo nga si Donald Trump, UFC, di ba?
Yeah.
Rome, I came, I saw, I conquered.
Oh.
Bro, people want it na eh. Feeling ko gusto ng tao alpha talaga yung presidente. Babae man lang or lalaki. It does or
Yes.
LGBT, I don't care. I mean, people want decisive leaders pare.
Yeah, right now I think the strong leadership is what everyone's looking for, and there's a good argument for it nga na. And I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think if I remember correctly, yung I forget who his guest was. Yung sinabi nga that strong men create, protect the community, and in that protection creates weak men. Tapos the weak men eventually become the leaders. Now chaos, and in the chaos, the strong man comes back. I think that makes sense to me. Na kaya nga ngayon, at saka sa Philippines, yun ang isang problema natin dahil nga marami tayong mga single parents, single moms, and kudos to the single moms dahil ang hirap ng trabaho nila. I think we have about
Yan, bro, bro,
15.
bro, 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 ingat lang, ingat lang. Ingat
No,
lang.
I'm just saying that there are 15 million single moms and they're trying to raise their kids and walang male role model itong mga batang to. And the problem with having no strong role model na male, talaga magiging marami magiging weak men dito. At saka pag maraming mga weak na lalaki sa ating bansa, that brings rise to the Dutertes. Kasi hindi kaya nga mga ibang lalaki, they support Duterte dahil they're weak eh. So they want the strong man, they idolize it because hindi nila magawa yun
Parang
eh.
yun yung Fight Club. Parang yun yung
Yeah,
si
yeah,
Brad
parang
Pitt.
ganun.
Yun yung Brad Pitt nila, alter ego.
Sure, yeah, parang ganun. And they see that in Digong. That's why yun yung nakitang problem. So now I realize that having said this, one thing that I advocate for is stronger male role models. Lumabas na. And I really advocate for males to be more, to pick up the cudgels and take your responsibility and your role as a man. There's nothing wrong with being a man. And honestly, yun, may sabihin na toxic masculinity, may toxic femininity din. And that's really where the problem
I
lies.
think this is the perfect transition to the two-letter T's. Balikan natin si Sir Trillanes and then Donald Trump again, a little bit
Oh,
manosphere to. Ako,
go.
personally, my stance is strong leaders create strong institutions and then those strong institutions create Sparta. Right? So if you look at the
Right.
Spartan model, whatever, it's not like, you have a whole system set up to make sure na bawal ang mahina. Right? So the women are strong, the men are strong. Bata ka pa lang, you go through this rigorous training, bawal lang syunga, bawal lang mahina. So I believe great leaders are great builders of institutions that instill strength. Because yun nga yung problema eh. If you're a strong man lang but you don't build strong institutions, once you're gone, there's a vacuum and then cycle.
Yes.
So that's where I come in. Now, speaking of Senator Trillanes, as I said, initially I was a little bit iffy with him back in the day kasi nga, but he's a coup d'etat guy, right? So parang, wait lang, is he really a man of institution? Pero nakita ko sa kanya, sincere siya when he supported Risa, back in the day when he supported Lenny. He's always willing to give way to others, to support others.
Yep.
Nakita ko, he held it. I don't know if you remember the part, sabi ko, did you have personal trauma? And he was telling na pinahiram pa siya ng bulletproof Fortuner ni Grace po. Tinulungan pa siya. Like talagang, bro, he could have been killed any moment. I mean,
Absolutely.
hindi na pa cute yun. Hindi na pa macho yan. Talagang legit na macho si Trillanes in the best
Yeah.
of the world. Man. Idol, Lodi. I love
Yeah.
the guy. He's great. He's great.
Yeah. And then you're right. Ako talaga, honestly, I look up to Trillanes. He is an alpha. The fact, actually, yeah, if you guys don't know what a Sigma is, parang ang Sigma siya eh. Kasi Alpha is the strong leader, but Sigma is the guy that doesn't care. I don't care how you look
Oh,
at
yung
me,
cool
what you
guy.
think.
Yung cool guy.
Oh, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, say what I'm going to say, and fight for what I believe in. Yung ganun siya, malakas ang ano. I have a lot of respect for Trillanes and kaya I defend him pag may mga away na ganyan. I will defend him kasi I see naman na talagang may pinaninindigan tong taong to. Ngayon, this is perfect juxtaposition to Duterte. Pag nakita mo nung nagtapatan sila sa Quadcom, I love it. Nakita mo kung sino yung talagang matapang. Nakita mo kung sino yung talagang duwag. Nakita mo kung sino yung talagang may pinaninindigan. Nakita mo yung isang wala. It's amazing watching those two together. At nakita mo talaga yung pagkapiko ni Digong pag pinag-uusapan ng isang bagay at siya, mismo si Digong sinabi niya, pag ang bagay na pinag-uusapan ay yung totoo na, napipikon siya, naiinis siya at napikon siya nung binanggit na yung kanyang 2.4 billion na mga bank deposits into his account. Wala na. Tapos
Millions and millions, millions and
yeah. I
millions.
love it. I love the fact na nangyari nga nun. Sinabi nga ni Digong, pipirma na ako? O sige, sampalin ko siya. Tapos akala niya, hindi oo si Trillanes. Sumagot si Trillanes na, o sige, paeg ako, sampalin mo ako. Pirmahan mo na ngayon. Pucha, kaya nagalit si Digong kasi wala na siyang mabaray. Wala na siyang
Sobrang bro,
masabi.
as in, sobrang parang second nature sa kanya. Halika. I mean, he didn't even set it up, di ba? Hindi man lang siya nag-isip,
Yep.
nakatingin ba yung camera sa akin? Hindi bro, as in, sobrang legit siya.
Yeah.
Halika,
Yeah.
halika, ganun. Grabe bro, that's legit bro. Again just to be clear, baka sasabihin naman tayo, toxic masculine tayo, mga ganyan. Ang
No.
point ko dito is, I'm not saying Trillanes is perfect. I'm not saying I agree with everything he has done. But I think he represents something that we all should aspire for or look for in a leader, which is pag talagang paninigan mo yan, talagang naniniwala ka sa sinasabi mo, talagang if you have truth on your side, go all the way, even if you
Yeah.
risk your life and all. I mean, look at gaano katapang si Trillanes to fly to the US, meet Marco
Yep.
Rubio, meet Republican congressman na mayabang din and all of that and talk to them, bro, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Man, and then get Rubio and all to pass a resolution in favor of supporting Senator De Lima. You
Yep.
know, bro, that was very, very cojones move. I mean, honest, I have
Yeah.
to say, that was a cojones move. So
Yeah.
I hope people realize, and I said, I also love and admire Senator De Lima because she also showed the strength. So this is not a macho male thing. It's a Navalny thing, right? It's a kind of go all the way.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Did you watch the movie Gattaca? Yung si Ethan
Yes.
Hawke, ninakaw niya yung
Yes.
identity ni Jude. That was one of the most influential movies in my life. Kasi, remember the scene when he was swimming against his genetically superior brother?
Yes.
Di ba? And then, yung brother niya at some point, natatalo niya. Di ba? Plus, eventually, he beat his brother. And then sabi ng brother niya, how did you beat me? I'm the alpha, right? You're
Right.
beta. Sabi niya, I didn't leave anything to swim back.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's how you beat, 'di ba? Like you go all the way. And once magets
Yep.
ng kabila, no matter how gifted or something, yung willpower mo will win the day. Kaya I love na love that movie was always a big influence on me, yung Ethan Hawke na despite all of his disadvantages, once he was all in, bro, he could beat anyone. In the end, he triumphed. He triumphed. So, and then compare mo kay Jude Law na genetically gifted,
Yep.
guwapo, magaling. But once he got into a problem, he was giving up on everything. But although understandable character, he's tragic character. But you know what I'm saying? So may pagka-gata ka, like go all the way, wala akong iwanan to swim back mode. That brother I respect. That brother I really respect.
Yeah. I agree. And I'm gonna watch actually
Yeah,
Gattaca
leave
again.
nothing in the tank. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fantastic. See, people love it. These are legit conversations, brother. These are legit I really appreciate it. Now let's go to the last part of our conversation, brother. Trump, right? So, ngayon ang dami na lumalabas sa mga liberal analysis, New York Times, among others, na Trump dominated the manosphere, right? The sphere that the establishment media ignored, right? Ito mga Theo Von guy, nakopo lang dyan, yung mga redneck style, and then go lang si Trump and all of that. For you, as someone who's also a pioneer in Philippines of doing that kind of manosphere, right? I consider you as one of the pioneers of manosphere in the Philippines. What is your read of that, and what are the lessons moving forward? Because at the end of the day, the difference between us and sila Theo Von is they sided with Trump. While in our case, we're not siding, we're not partisan here. We're just trying to push the envelope, right? So that we have more
Yep.
critical thinking and patriotism. So hindi tayo partisan. We're not choosing any side.
Yeah, so I honestly think Trump really resonated kasi with the working class. Yun yung nakita ko talaga doon. Regardless of race, he really came across representing the common guy, the guy that was unheard. At saka remember kasi that honestly, I find kasi nga that there's that toxic wokeness that's been happening all over the world. And in the Philippines, we're seeing some of that already. Naalala ko nga, just to give you an example,
What do you mean
um,
by toxic woke? Just to clarify. No, you
yung
mean that
parang
top-down ini-impose ang certain cultural values on the rest of the people. Parang ganon.
absolutely. And, that it's come to a point where it's gone so far left na if you're just center, you're a bigot. O kaya you're transphobic na. May ganun na agad. And you're just saying like, wait a minute, can we just go back to a fair discussion about certain issues? And even, yung mga topics na ganun are bawal yan. At pag pinag-usapan mo yan, ikaw yung makakancel. And I saw that that was what was happening in the states primarily. Kaya nung dumating si Trump with his mouth saying, I don't care. No more men in women's sports. Screw this, screw that talagang derecho. And a lot of people that didn't have a voice because they were so afraid of getting canceled were like,
Shut down ka, yeah.
oh, shut down ka talaga. Not just that. If you're a popular personality, tanggal ka talaga sa mga endorsements and everything. And then Trump says, no, ako gagawin ko to. F all of you. Up, wow. And then everyone's like, I have a voice. Someone that speaks my language na napabayaan na because we're only now seeing one side, and that one side, see, here's the irony. The side on the left looks for tolerance. They ask for tolerance. They say we should be more tolerant. But in that demand for tolerance, they now become intolerant to other views that are not the same as theirs. So they
Pero
become
bro,
the very
just
thing
to be
they're
clear,
requesting for.
again, I'm 100%, just to give people idea, there's one congressman, a Democrat from Massachusetts who recently said something like, dalawang yung anak kong babae, ayoko kalaban nila yung dating lalaki. Something like that. Siyempre, nagalit lahat ng mga, they called him transphobic, whatever. And he was just saying that, we can talk about this issue without being transphobic or anything like that. Diba? So parang, ako, honestly, napansin ko sa Pilipinas nangyayari din ito. At actually, sa aking palagay, they're not true left. Ang true left ay Bernie Sanders na may paki sa working class.
Yeah.
Left ay Bernie Sanders na may paki sa minimum wage. Ang true left ay Bernie Sanders na he's willing to take on pharmaceuticals, on Wall Street. Yun ang tunay na left sa akin. Ako tawag dyan liberal left eh. Ito
Yeah.
yung
Oh, yeah, you're
tao
right.
na they gave up the fight for working class hanggang cultural ano na lang sila. I mean, I'm not
Yun.
against cultural Parang ang point ko is, pare, wag mo impose yan. Wag mo impose yan. And don't forget the working class, yung minimum wage issues. Mahalaga yan, pare. Inflation is hurting people.
I love that you said that, and that's something that I just realized I totally forgot about it. Thank you for bringing that up. That you're right. The liberal values are about the working class, not about culture. I mean, meron din, pero hindi yun eh. It's about defending the working class. And naging sobrang cultural war na to, na doon ang nag-divide sa US. Yun yung naging problema talaga nila. Alam mo, sa Philippines, buti hindi pa masyado na-i-import yung ganung toxic na
Sana bro,
kultura.
pero okay, that was the other thing. Nung time na kami ni Senator Trillanes na nag-criticize dun sa meeting with Sarah, many attack us saying, oh, we're just being misogynist. And I felt that was like, what the heck? How is that so?
Yeah.
Yun nung nainis ako. Tapos, syempre, I look a bit schmuck. And when with Trillanes together, we look like two schmuck guys. Like, and let's be honest, so parang feeling ko ginaganong kami, sini-stereotype kami. Nakita ko yung mga ibang influencers tinatabi. Ayan na naman, si Trillanes at Haydarian, Trillanes at Haydarian. So parang, what the heck is this? This is a legitimate tactical political conversation. It has nothing to do with, we are all like, we love what Risa is doing, we love what Delima is
Yep.
doing. So yun ang ayoko bro, hindi ang totoong left sa akin bro. Ang totoong left ay lumalaban sa working class. Lumalaban para sa karapatan ng tao. Hindi ito left sa akin bro. It's something else. It's more liberal, quote unquote. So,
Wow.
actually
Love
bro,
it.
medyo na-import na natin yan eh. Napansin ko,
Yeah.
nangyari yan. Dati, nung dinebate ko yung actually, dalawa sa mga biggest bloggers ni DDS, na-debate ko in the past. Nung first lalo, kinakancel talaga ako na, oh, Richard is legitimizing platforms. What are you talking about? Let people see na walang kwenta mga arguments sila and I can eat them alive, even if they're all DDS there. Wala kang pake. You should fight that fight like that. Oh, wala kang pake, go. Doon ko palang nalaman, in-import talaga natin yung nonsense cancel culture na yan eh. Call out is okay. I call out people. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. I mean, kahit si
Exactly.
all, kakausapin ko yan. Kahit si Robin Hood, kakausapin ko, wala akong problema kahit kikriticize ko siya. Ayoko yung cancel culture yan, bro. So we're importing. So unfortunately, I believe we kinda imported some of the nonsense. So we have to
So,
deal with
pero tanong ko sa'yo, may mga nagsasabi daw na, nakita ko lang sa comments na sabi nga nila na, oh, pero yan daw ginagawa ng mga pinklawan.
it.
Or
Again, yun nga eh,
is it
there's a
all
lot.
everyone?
No, I think there again again before kilala ko yung mga ibang walang yan, twist na naman yung words nila kasi nangyari sa akin yan. I even had a debate with some people over inflation and then the twist said Richard said inflation is good. I mean, that was the dumbest word to just like, wow. I just said in Turkey, inflation is horrible, but wages are also increasing. So it kind of cancels out in terms of real wages. But no, they just got the part when I said, so just to be absolutely clear, I'm all for LGBTQ rights. I'm all for minority rights, etc. 100% here or anywhere. But ang point ko lang dito is, yung cancel culture ang issue ko. Because not everyone went through Ivy League school or went through
Yeah.
or yung kaya nga yung favorite line ko, isa sa mga favorite lines ko, again, going back to literature, for instance, is yung sa Great Gatsby. In the opening
Mm.
chapters, there's a part whereby yung narrator, yung nag-play ng Spider-Man guy, di ba? Doon sa movie,
Mhm.
said that my father always reminded me that, son, not everyone had the privileges of your education. So do not expect them to think like you. And that always stuck with me, bro. That line from The Great Gatsby, that, oh ano,